Hi, everyone. I am so honored and excited to be here today with the 27th Administrator of the Small Business Administration and a former entrepreneur herself, Isabel Guzman. And more importantly than me and our administrator are two incredible small business owners. We have Alexis Carbajal. He's owner of Phoenix Coqui, which is a Puerto Rican food truck in Phoenix, Arizona, that serves delicious food based on generations of family recipes. And Lila Owens, founder of Cupcakin Bake Shop, a bakery near me in Berkeley, California. She has a hugely loyal following because of her salted caramel, red velvet, and key lime pie cupcakes. I am from Florida. I really appreciate the key lime, Lila.
Thank you.
We come together at, maybe the beginning of the end or the end of COVID. Only right now here. It's obviously not over in other places, and I know not over here, but we've been living through a health crisis, an economic crisis, and a crisis for small business. And those who are feeling the impact most are businesses owned by women and people of color, because those businesses have closed at higher rates than others in the US. Both Facebook and our Small Business Administration and our incredible new administrator are really committed to doing all we can to helping small businesses get through this difficult time. For our part, we've been doubling down on what small businesses do, educational resources and trainings, helping small businesses do what they do best, which is sell products, but do it in a new way online. We've also made really big investments to support communities of color through programs like training and grants. Administrator Guzman, we are just so honored, and I am so honored to be with you today. And you're obviously doing such critical work to support small businesses, especially those hit really hard by the pandemic. So thank you for being here. I'd love you to share some opening thoughts.
Thank you. And the honor is mine too, Sheryl. Thanks for welcoming me to this Facebook Live with these amazing small business owners. This is what keeps it real, what keeps me up at night and motivated all day. It's a great honor for me to serve as the voice for America's 30 million small businesses and innovative startups. I grew up in a family small business. I've also started and advised small businesses. I know what a pivotal moment we are in, as so many entrepreneurs have faced huge challenges during COVID. I saw it when I was the California advocate and now at the national level. And so while things are looking up, thanks to the Biden-Harris administration's shots in arms efforts, we're already approaching 60% of adult Americans vaccinated, which will definitely help normalize our main streets and markets. But we know that many businesses are still struggling. And the truth is that our nation's small businesses overall won't be able to fully recover and get back on track until, as President Biden says, we can celebrate our independence from this virus, which is why the SBA is so laser focused on being as entrepreneurial as the small businesses we serve, so we can get relief to small business owners, especially the hardest hit, to make sure that they can survive until our COVID Independence Day arrives. Restaurants and other food and beverage businesses in particular were the first to close and will likely be the last to fully reopen, and they've been among the hardest hit. And so we're so pleased that the American Rescue Plan included a $28.6 billion restaurant revitalization fund, which was for targeted relief in grants, not loans, to a wide range of food and beverage businesses. And we're very proud to have turned that program around successfully in just over a month. To date, we've received in 2 weeks only, actually, just over 303,000 applications with $69 billion in requested funds. Clearly a large demand and need out there. But nearly 57% of those who applied were women, veterans, and socially and economically disadvantaged business owners. Our outreach efforts worked in trying to make sure we reached those businesses. And to date, we've delivered nearly $6 billion to more than 38,000 food and beverage businesses in the priority target categories, which were mandated by Congress: women, veterans, and people of color. And to make sure that the smallest of the small wouldn't be left out, as an earlier relief, we did set aside $9.5 billion of the total specifically for smaller entities. And it includes the special set aside I created for businesses with revenues of $50,000 or less. And the good news is that we still have funding left for businesses in that category. So if you're out there, be sure to apply ASAP. The success we've seen with this program, though, in reaching our businesses where they are, is just the beginning. While we are proud of the work we've done, we know there's so much more to do as we recover. And really, the American entrepreneurial spirit is the one that built this country. And at the SBA, I know we need to do everything we can to nurture that and make sure that we can together recover our economy. So thanks for having me here. I look forward to this conversation.
Well, thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing. You all have just not even hit the ground running, hit the ground sprinting. What's faster than running? So Alexis and Lila, we want to hear from you. Alexis, this continues to be a really hard time for small businesses, especially small business owners. What are some of the top challenges for businesses who are trying to get back on track right now?
Thanks, Sheryl. That's a great question. It's something we struggle with every day. It's how do we plan for the unknown right now when we've put things like spending marketing dollars on hold because we don't know how things will change from week to week, from month to month. So obviously things are now looking a lot better, but just dealing with the uncertainty is what I think took everyone by surprise. And it's still, trying to find our balance.
Lila, for a lot of people out there who are interested in helping the businesses in their communities, if you're watching and you want to support a small business in your community, what can people do?
That's an awesome question. Thank you for that question. So I think the first simple thing you can do is just patronize small businesses. During the pandemic, I think a lot of us got used to ordering online from the big box stores, and you knew you were going to get your package the next day. I think opt to be intentional about supporting small or local instead. I had the option the other day to buy a yoga strap, and I was going to go to Amazon because I knew I'd have it the next day, but I opted instead to go directly to the small business that was on Etsy. And I had to wait a couple more days, but it felt better to support them directly rather than to go through the big box stores. So I think that's one way. Another way is promoting or sharing on online platforms like Facebook and Instagram. So once you make the purchase, if it's something that was beneficial to you or you had a good experience, sharing that online helps to promote the small business and give them more exposure to, your friends and family and people in your network that would not have otherwise known about the small business. And I think another thing that we sometimes overlook, which was particularly important during COVID, is if you have a less than favorable experience, rather than go straight to an online platform to maybe disparagingly put a negative review out, go directly to the business owner or management and see if they can solve the problem first, and give them the opportunity to, because those negative reviews can adversely affect our reputations. And so I think 9 times out of 10, you'll have a really good experience at a business, and that 10th time might not be so great. And there's this tendency to go online, but that's not your cumulative experience. Like 9 times it was great. you're only sharing the one negative experience. So I think first before you go to online platforms for negative reviews, see if the small business owner can solve the problem. That is tremendous help in maintaining our reputations online, because online is now where people are going to determine whether or not they want to support a small business.
Lila, that's such a good point. That is such a good point. Thank you for sharing that. I do think giving people a chance to rectify a bad experience or to understand it is so important. And I'll add to that and say, post the good stuff. Mm-hmm. Don't post the bad stuff, but share those, as you said. So, okay, I know you each have a question for Administrator Guzman. Alexis?
Yes, if I could. Administrator Guzman, we've seen many organizations, governments, public companies, private groups provide financial and other forms of support for businesses during the pandemic. Can you tell us how the government and private industry are working together to help with economic recovery?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in really leveraging our incredible private companies out there to help us. Reaching 30 million small businesses is a Herculean task, and one that we can't do alone. So SBA actually manages one of the best public-private partnerships around through our lending program, and then of course through PPP and our restaurants program. Even we really have worked with banks and mission lenders, and now fintech. For example, on the PPP, to reach our small businesses and give them the capital that they need to grow and thrive. And so we're interdependent in that sphere completely. And then beyond that, we've tried to get creative. Businesses have adopted technology at such high rates. We need to do the same. So with the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, we looked at it from that perspective of how we can get to our small businesses. So we partnered with Square and Toast and Clover and Aloha so that we could better reach restaurants and small food and beverage businesses where they were already at with a point of sale vendor and provide them with access to the grant opportunity. And so those are all great examples on the capital front. But then just broadly, if we're going to continue to support our small businesses, we need to partner. So our partnership with Facebook is a great example of really trying to come together with an organization that believes so strongly in small businesses as well and supporting them through this pandemic to try to figure out how we can better serve our small businesses jointly and give them the support that they need to survive during this time.
Administrator Guzman, I really appreciate that. I think it's incumbent upon big businesses like ours to work closely with the administration to do the things we need to do to support small businesses because they're the heart of our communities. Okay, Lila, I know you have a question for our administrator as well.
Yes, thank you. So, Administrator Guzman, we know that the pandemic has affected everyone, but not everyone equally. And small businesses that are minority-led, women-led, and representative of other economically vulnerable populations face additional challenges to recovery. How is the SBA working to address these issues?
The Biden-Harris administration is committed to equity across the board. And it's why I'm here to serve as the SBA administrator, because we know that historic barriers have really limited access to capital, to markets, to networks for so many, especially women and people of color and other underserved communities like rural populations or veterans. But in particular, these are the same groups, so women and people of color who are starting businesses at such high rate. So it's such a huge opportunity to really solve this connection gap, this access gap, and help our economy in the process. And so we're committed to doing everything we can to eliminate those barriers, to create and build trust and bridges to communities to make sure that they're able to access our program. And hopefully the Restaurant Revitalization Fund sets that tone of really reaching out and ensuring that there are guardrails on programs or just support across programs to reach the communities who truly need our help to overcome those barriers. So we're all in and committed to building equity within the Biden-Harris administration.
So inspiring. Lila and Alexis, thank you for keeping your businesses running, for employing people. I think I'm going to treat myself to some key lime cupcakes later today or tomorrow. And then I'd love to post with you, Lila. That's a great idea. Alexis, I don't know how to get food from a food truck, but next time I'm in Phoenix, we'll do the same. And I know Administrator Guzman, you have an open invitation to visit us out here in California, and I will provide the key lime cupcakes from my store.
Awesome. I will take you up on that.
Administrator Guzman, I want to join Lila and Alexis for thanking you for your service. Government jobs are hard. Government jobs are hard right now. And you've chosen to jump in and really, God, I'm filled with analogies today. You're jumping, you're sprinting, you're running. You've really chosen to jump in and lead, and we're all grateful for it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And I look forward to just continuing to engage directly with small businesses to hear the challenges that you've been facing and how we can help you and partner with you to make sure that you can rebuild. Because small businesses are the giants of our economy, and I want to make sure they can feel that way, especially within their government interactions.
That's great. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks.
Thank you.